Will Kurt get the help he needs for his brand new RV?
I'm stuck. You just handed me a $300 check to cover minimally at this stage of the game. I'm thinking $3,000 worth of work.
Welcome to the channel. I'm Liz. I interview people with defective RVs in order to pressure the RV industry to take care of their customers. So far that has been working thanks to you for making this channel the force that it is. Well, in preparing for full-time RV life, Kurt will be the first to admit that he made some mistakes. In fact, that's part of the reason why he's sharing his story, to help you. So grab a pen and paper and see if you can spot all the mistakes. We'll compare lists later and maybe you'll find some that I missed. Also, I reached out to the manufacturer and the dealer and I'll have their response later in the video.
I really didn't have much of a retirement plan, so my intention was to get more involved than I already was in the race community, going track to track and living in my RV. In December of 2022, I went to the Mercedes-Benz dealership in St. Louis, met with the salesman, and we put together the order for the van. During that process, I made sure to point out to the salesman exactly what my intentions were for this van. It was going to be my tow vehicle for my toy hauler. Made sure to order the tow package. I wanted a class 4 hitch receiver. He goes, sure, no problem. I bought the RV from Legacy RV in Effingham, Illinois. When I went to the RV dealership, I needed a shorter toy hauler. I needed it to be aluminum frame. And frankly, I needed it to be one of the better built toy haulers on the market, because most of the ones that you see these days are pretty much fairly flimsy aluminum cans for all practical purposes. And from what I had heard, Stealth was the company that makes super heavy duty, reliable toy haulers. I had in mind that I wanted a small toy hauler, not anything crazy or big, and I had my eyes specifically on the 18 FK or the 20 FK, and specifically I wanted the aluminum frame. I didn't want to eat up all my tow capacity on the vehicle itself. So I went to the dealership, and the only thing they had available in the aluminum frame was the 24 FK. And what that means is it's 24 feet of living quarters, and then there's an extra 6 feet of 3 feet of storage, and then 3 feet is the tongue of the trailer. So at this point in time, the trailer's 30 feet long. I told the dealer, I said, I'm not sure. I've already ordered the van, and I've had my brain wrapped around these numbers to keep the weight of the trailer down to a minimum. I said, if I gave you the phone number to the Mercedes dealership, could you guys talk and make sure that before I order anything or that I spend any money, that this trailer and this van are going to go together? So he goes, sure, no problem. I'll talk to him. He calls the dealer and they have a conversation that I wasn't involved in. And then the next day, the RV dealer calls me back and says, I talked to the Mercedes dealer. According to the numbers we all looked at, that van will haul that trailer with no problem. I said, are you sure? And he says, yes, I am. I said, okay. And I paid $45,000 for it. Towards the beginning of March, when I thought the van was about ready to get delivered, I called the dealership and he goes, oh, I'm sorry. We should have called you 2 months ago. The van's not going to be there till May. I made arrangements to have the trailer delivered to that RV park south of St. Louis on the 11th of May. Delivery guy basically handed me the keys. I wrote a check, signed a couple of papers, and he left. I started loading up the new RV. That's about the time that pretty much everything started to go wrong.
I've purchased 2 RVs brand new, and both times I had to replace the mattress. In fact, the first time I cratered that mattress in 3.5 weeks. So if you're shopping for a new RV, you're likely going to need to replace that mattress too. And of course, if you're shopping for used, you'll definitely want a new mattress. I've been sleeping on an RV mattress by Brooklyn Bedding for nearly 3 years now, and I love it. In fact, since I've been sleeping on the Aurora Luxe, I now wake up pain-free. They have a wide variety of mattresses, and they come in RV sizes like king short and queen short. There's a 120-night sleep trial and free shipping right to your door. The mattresses can be kind of heavy, so you might need some help getting it in the door, but it's fun to watch it puff up. If you're interested in an RV mattress by Brooklyn Bedding, don't pay full price. I can get you 30% off your entire order. Just go to rvmattress.com/LizAmazing, put in the coupon code LizAmazing, and you'll save 30%.
I have motorcycles, so the cargo rings were pretty important as far as tying my stuff down. I crawled up underneath the trailer, and two of the cargo rings, they had bolts through the holes through the floor, but there weren't any nuts holding it in place. As far as it was concerned, they were completely loose. As I'm moving into the trailer, I start looking around at the trim work, and it's all gapped away from the wall. Some of it's not even attached. And I realized that the finish work was questionable at best. But again, my plan was I needed a toy hauler that I could live in. I decided, over time I would upgrade, improve, redesign. Then it started to get warm, and I turned on the air conditioner, and the first hot day we had, the air conditioner basically popped the breaker. The power wasn't strong enough to run the hot water heater off electricity. I still have to run the water heater off of gas, but I can't get the air conditioner to run for more than about 5 or 10 minutes before it pops the breaker. I call the dealership, and it's like, look, I don't have the ability to haul this trailer to you to fix. When I first put the order in, I told them, it's like, look, you need to hook this trailer up and you need to run it. And if there's any problems whatsoever that you are going to be responsible for fixing, you need to fix them before I take possession. Because otherwise, once I move in, I can't just move out and let you have the trailer for 2 or 3 or 4 weeks. And they go, I understand, Mr. Stork, we'll take care of it. And, giving me the impression that they plugged it in, they hooked up the water, and let the whole trailer run for an extended period of time. I just assumed that because they said they would. They send one of their technicians over. He looks over the air conditioner, and he looks over the power post and the power panel, and he's scratching his head as well. There was a small issue with the power supply at the RV. We found that, and I'm thinking, okay, maybe that's the source of all my problems. So he leaves, and we have another hot day, and again, we're back to the air conditioner's kicking out warm air, or eventually just kicking the breaker off and stopping. Now I'm starting to worry. I'm thinking to myself, well, what did I get myself into? Is there more to this than I thought? I keep finding more and more small stuff. So I tell the dealer, he said, we've already done a whole lot for you. We can't just send a tech guy over to St. Louis. It's a 3-hour drive. I said, I know. I got to make the same 3-hour drive in reverse. And he goes, well, I got an idea. What if you put together a report of all the things that need to be fixed? We'll turn in the warranty claim as if we, the dealership, are going to do the work, and then we'll write you a check for the work that you do yourself. It's like, well, that's not optimal, and it seems a little bit hinky, but honestly, I got no other choice. I'm at this point in time, I feel like I'm stuck. So I agree to this. And I go about taking pictures of all the things that I've found, of which there's a pretty good long list. This is before I've even torn into the trailer at all, including the stereo, the air conditioner. Oh, and when I finally did find out what was wrong with the air conditioner, it turns out that there was a good strong 3/8 of an inch to a 1/2 inch thick layer of some kind of fuzz or foam or something. It looked like dryer lint, and it covered the entire surface of the outside air vent on the rooftop air conditioner. I told him about it, and he goes, well, those things suck in the fuzz from trees and so on. I said, I've only been here for a couple of weeks. There is no way that amount of buildup happened in 2 weeks. I said, that was there before I got the trailer. So once I got that cleared off, the air conditioner seemed to be working better. There was this whole list of stuff, and I sent it to him, all the photos. This is late June. A month goes by. I said, have you heard anything from the manufacturer? Nope, haven't heard anything. On top of everything, the Class 4 hitch receiver that I expected to get from Mercedes, there was no hitch receiver at all. I didn't even get the Class 3. And he goes, oh, you wanted a hitch receiver? I said, yeah. I said, I ordered the tow package. And part of that was, and I said, hitch receiver. Class 4. And you said, sure, no problem. Like I said, that's kind of a whole nother story. I've voiced to my younger brother, and he goes, okay, bring the trailer here. I talked to Larry, the welder. We'll fix the hitch receiver ourselves. Larry, the welder, comes over, and he goes, now, it's going to destroy the warranty. And I said, what other choice do I have? I'm backed in a corner. Larry, the welder, proceeded to find the necessary steel and do the necessary welding and work. There's no warranty to it, But as far as I'm concerned, I don't care about the warranty. I'm worried about my health and my safety and the safety of my equipment. So Larry did a great job, and I'm happy with it. So I call up the dealer. Have you heard back from the manufacturer? And he goes, oh, I have. He goes, you can come pick up the check anytime. I said, okay, great. Just out of curiosity's sake, how much was it? And he goes, $324. I said, I'm sorry, did you say $324? He goes, yeah. I said, JD, that's not even going to scratch the surface of the kind of money and time that I'm going to have to put in to fix this trailer and make it actually usable and reliable. He goes, well, I'm sorry. That's just the way the RV manufacturers are. You know, we get the short end of the stick on a regular basis when it comes to these things too. They just build them as fast as they can, and then they expect us to fix everything for them. And it's like, well, you know, God bless your heart. I don't care. I'm stuck. You just handed me a $300 check to cover minimally at this stage of the game. I'm thinking $3,000 worth of work. If you base it upon nothing more than shop time's $100 to $120 an hour. Any shop you go to, and that's cheap. I'm pissed off at this point in time, and I told him about it, and I said, you know what, I got no other choice. $300 is more than nothing. So this is October now, and at the beginning of December, I moved the trailer in to be able to do the work in this shop, and I start with the intention of, okay, I'm going to peel this back, and I'm going to fix only what needs to be fixed. And as I peel it back, I keep finding more and more stuff. Just about every hole that is cut in this trailer, for whether it's for windows or power or plugs, you name it, it's as if they have taken a pair of tin snips and hacked holes. You know, that which is supposed to be a round hole is now just a hacked out mess. That's everywhere. I find that there's a full inch gap all the way around the perimeter of the floor in the trailer where you can see sunlight through. About 60% of all the plumbing connections leaked. The shower head leaked. The shower controls leaked. As I pull back, I realized just how bad the leaking was. There was all kinds of slime and goo back behind the fixture. 2 months later, I get the trailer as finished as I can. I decide that I was at least going to reach out to the manufacturer, and I contacted the warranty department. I didn't control my emotions, and I spoke out of turn. I basically started making threats of, you know, if you don't make this right, I'm just going to let everybody know exactly what I got, you know, what I got here, because I took videos of it. And I tried to send the videos to the warranty department. They wouldn't even look at them. I admit to getting a little snarky. I said, look, this looks really, really bad on you guys. And if this gets out into the public, you might lose business. I never heard back from her again. The next person I heard back was from the lawyer. And they basically said, look, manufacturer owes you nothing. They lived up to the requirements of the warranty. And if you ever say anything against us, we reserve the right to press charges. I called up my attorney, and I say my attorney, he's a buddy of mine who's basically a shark, standard attorney. He said that there wasn't anything he can do. And at that point in time, I just kind of took 3 steps back and realized yes, I understand that I have the legal right to speak about all my experiences, especially when I have proof, but I don't have what it takes to defend myself, so I better keep my mouth shut and just slink off into the background and just be happy that I'm still breathing and alive. A lot of people like me, we don't fight back because we don't know for sure whether or not we can actually defend ourselves, whether we're in the right or not.
Let's pause right here and talk about the mistakes. Now, we're not talking about the mistakes to make Kurt or anyone feel bad. The whole point of this channel is to help educate. Too trusting of the salespeople. It's so important to remember, no matter how friendly they are, they're there to make sales. They're not necessarily acting out in your best interest. So you need to do your own research. You need to check the numbers. For example, the cargo carrying capacity. Make sure that it's right. Put yourself in the driver's seat. Read the paperwork. You cannot trust that they're listening to you and they're putting it all down. You need to have it all in writing. For example, the Class 4 hitch. Probably more research was needed on the Stealth trailers just based on the condition of when he got it. So definitely join the owners forums and find out on anything you're interested in purchasing. Get the scoop on owners and just do as much research as you possibly can before buying. Buying the bigger trailer because that was the one on the dealer lot instead of waiting for the one that he originally wanted. Not getting an inspection, this has definitely been talked about in almost all of my videos. Also not doing the walkthrough. It sounded like that the delivery guy just basically handed him the keys. He would have been better served if he had gone up to the dealer and done the PDI right there before signing any papers, and of course after the inspection. You do not want to sign any papers until everything is right. The warranty deal did seem kind of sketchy with the check. If that is something that gets offered to you, you want to get an agreement in writing up front that includes the amount of the check, or at least a ballpark range. So that's all I have on my list so far. What did I miss? Let me know in the comments and put your list in the comments. Now let's get back to the story.
If I had known all of this was going down, considering the kind of tools I have, the kind of building skills that I have, I could have bought a plain Jane, aluminum frame, drop ramp, cargo trailer, not an RV, and I could have built it out myself for half the price and done a load better job. If this all had worked out the way it was supposed to, buy a van, buy a trailer, get a hitch receiver, hook the whole thing up, head on down the road, I'd be going track to track. I'd be making $300-400 a week, $1,200 a month with $800 worth of expenses and a $40,000 savings account. I have no savings account. I'm working full time, barely making ends meet. Fast forward to a few days ago, my younger brother suggests, look, you need to call this woman Liz. She might be able to help. And you're my last ditch. Minimally, I want everybody to know that what I experienced is the truth, and I want everybody to see what I experienced. What I think I deserve another trailer, the one I was supposed to get. Like I said, I've already fixed this one, and I've modified it and improved it. And frankly, I also don't want to go to bed tomorrow night feeling like I didn't do anything because I let some attorney scare me into a lack of action. But if I can get some money out of Stealth, any amount is, at this stage of the game, is more than I had. I want some kind of compensation, some kind of apology too. Oh, we're sorry, Mr. Stork, that we accused you of lying just to get out of our legal obligation of putting together a decent product.
Stealth was acquired late last year by Load Trail and Cross Trailers. I reached out to them and I got no response. I also reached out to Legacy RV in Effington, Illinois. It's not clear to me if they're still in business. Their website is still up, but Google says they're permanently closed. I got no response from them either. I will definitely keep you updated on this case. Remember to post your list of any mistakes that you found and any that I may have missed, plus any RV shopping tips that you may have. Also, please like, subscribe, and share. That helps grow this channel so I can help more people. Thank you for watching and stay tuned.